Captain, welcome to Stowbetter's Elite TFO training for the Herald Sphere Task Force operation. We'll start with objectives.
The first objective of this TFO is to defend 6 Federation science vessels near 3 different portals. All 6 vessels must survive or the TFO will fail. Once the science vessels have been defended, move through the gateway to intercept Herald ships attempting to leave the sphere. Prevent Herald forces from entering the gateways for 4 minutes. No more than 15 ships can be allowed to escape, or the mission will fail. Next, exit the sphere through the gateway and defeat enemy forces and command ships that arrive periodically during the subsequent 4 minutes. Finally, re-enter the gateway to destroy the Iconian Dreadnought in under 3.5 minutes, thus completing all objectives. The overall TFO must be completed in under 14 minutes.
Thank you. On to risks and rewards. This TFO needs moderate coordination and team composition to play well in Elite, specifically in the first and second stages. In the first stage, you must keep the science vessels alive, while not losing any. In the second, you must prevent too many Herald ships from escaping. Ideally, none will escape during this stage. Adversary damage level is high due to the combination of enemy damage and disabling effects, combined with high enemy density. Unfortunately, relative to the difficulty and length of this TFO, it only awards a mediocre amount of Iconian or fleet marks, along with a chance for isomagnetic plasma pieces. Due to multiple time gates, this is also one of the longest TFOs. The adversaries on this operation are Iconian Heralds, which have a combination of smaller and larger ships. The smaller Baltum Raiders are not much of a threat, but Quas cruisers and especially Voth battleships are far more dangerous. Battleships can summon solar gateways, which inflict severe damage over time if left unchecked, and can spawn them behind player ships. Both cruisers and battleships can summon energy gateways, which increase their durability, and have abilities like EMP Pulse Probe and Ionic Turbulence, which can disable or interfere with normal ship operation, leaving you vulnerable to more conventional attacks. AoE builds are highly recommended here due to the number of targetable gateways and probes. Exotic builds that can clump and slow large numbers of enemies are excellent on this map. Be very careful about solar gateways behind you, as they can destroy most player ships within seconds. If you see one near you, manually target it as fast as possible. They do not have much HP, but are very lethal. Lastly, ensure you spread out in the first 3 stages to cover the science vessels, attack paths, and portals in order to prevent mission failure. Now, combat footage will be shown to illustrate the principles discussed previously. The goal of this section is not to illustrate perfect piloting, but provide an example of how to successfully complete the map with all objectives and without dying. Note that for brevity's sake, the footage is usually sped up relative to in-game speed. In the initial stage, choose one of the 3 portals and attack the Herald ships there that are threatening the science vessels. The team will need to divide to cover all 3 portals, as the TFO will fail if any allied science vessels are destroyed. This is not an area to hold back, so use your long cooldown abilities here to quickly complete this stage. Move to any other portals that need help once clearing your initial one. Once all 3 portals are secure, enter the gateway. Cannon scatter volley builds are reasonably capable at this map. However, be aware that the number of probes and gateways approaching you can overwhelm your firing cone, which can hit a maximum of 3 targets. You can still be disabled and killed even when staring and firing at the enemies. In the second stage, the team again needs to divide up to attack the various Herald groups. The initial cutscene can be skipped, allowing for faster movement to the spawn points, which will occur all around the central ring marked on the map. If your team is weaker, working in groups of 2 to 3 on each group will work better than having everyone attempt to solo an enemy force. If your team is stronger, or in particular has a strong exotic build, it's possible to solo an enemy group. The forces consist of 1 to 2 battleships, 1 to 2 cruisers, and a handful of raiders, plus their summons, so AoE builds and abilities are well suited to taking them out. In this stage, no more than 15 ships can escape, or else the TFO will fail. While practiced and very capable teams can complete this stage without any ships escaping, having a few slip through is not a major loss. It's important to have strong speed boosts available frequently, as moving quickly from group to group increases the time available to defeat them before they can escape.
At 4 o'clock. Gateway opening at 6 o'clock. Gateway opening at 5 o'clock.
Note that in this section, I keep my perspective zoomed out so I can watch what's happening around my ship. When a solar gateway appears behind me, I turn and manually target it to prevent it from destroying me. The skill of quickly and correctly targeting the appropriate enemy is very important for efficient completion of this TFO without dying. Otherwise, keep your nose pointed towards the main part of the enemy group and target the battleships or cruisers unless a solar gateway appears.
Gateway opening at 1 o'clock. Gateway opening at 2 o'clock. Gateway opening at 12 o'clock. Gateway opening at 8 o'clock.
In this next encounter, I attempt to solo a group, and my health drops very quickly. If it wasn't for allied ships arriving to help, I would have been destroyed. What I failed to account for was sitting in an ionic turbulence cloud, which is a hefty resistance penalty. It appears like a light blue or purple cloud and will make you significantly more vulnerable. If you find yourself trapped in such a location, move quickly. Note that it does disable pilot maneuvers.
Gateway opening at 2 o'clock. Gateway opening at 11 o'clock.
Once the timer ends, find the correct gateway and exit the sphere. The mini-map has the correct icon. It's at about 10 o'clock relative to the center of the map. After exiting the sphere, defeat the initial Herald groups and then attack the command vessels when they appear. They should spawn periodically.
Take out their command vessels.
Note, however, that this section is bugged, such that command vessels will often fail to appear after the first few, meaning that your team might have significant downtime if you can quickly defeat the Herald fleets. If the map bugs, you'll simply have to wait until the stage ends and it is time-gated. For brevity's sake, the video will be trimmed here.
Energy levels in the sphere are rising. Check it out.
The final stage is quite straightforward. Fly into a gateway, re-enter the sphere, and defeat the Dreadnought. The intro cutscene here can also be skipped by holding Escape. Once the Dreadnought is defeated, the TFO will complete successfully.
Sensor readings show that the ship is controlling the gateway. Destroy it.
Captain, if this breakdown helped you in your quest to play Stowe better, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel. The link to the specific build used for this tutorial is in the description. For more guides and builds, check us out at www.stobetter.com.